I'm Kailey Ledoux. I play for the Trinity Western Spartans women's hockey team. I am First Nations from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation.
Perfect.
I have learned a lot within the last year when it comes to my family's history, and my Kokum, who attended residential school, she shared a lot, and I had some good experiences with her walking through the residential school in Kamloops. And yeah, I've just gained a lot of knowledge in the last year that I want to share because, yeah, the biggest part about truth and reconciliation is learning. So I just wanted to share more of my family's story to hopefully teach some other people. So when I was in Kamloops walking through the residential school with my Kokum, we were just walking through all different parts of it, and there were just a few places where she would explain some of her memories there. Like, we walked through the hallway and she remembered cleaning the floor with a toothbrush, and I think that was like one of the first things she said to me, and that really hit me. I knew beforehand that it was going to be hard for her to walk through, but some of the things I learned made me realize how hard it would be for her and how hard her life going to residential school was. We were in their church, and she said that they went to church every day, which I was like, okay, not that bad. And yeah, she said that they had to do confession every day, and if they confessed their sins, they would be beat for it because obviously they were sinful. But if they had no sins to confess, then they were also beat because you thought that you were as good as God. And that was like the craziest thing, because they were children that couldn't do any right without getting beaten. And yeah, that was a lot for me. And they said that there was children as young as 3 years old in there, so it was anywhere from 3 to 18, and the amount of abuse that they probably endured for reasons that they had no control over. I think it was going to happen either way. That was a lot. And then there was just a few other different rooms and different places within the residential school where she shared memories, or she knew exactly what they were because it's the same in every residential school. And she said there was a room that she said that's where they took the boys at night, or there was a little closet where they would give kids detention and lock them in there. Yeah, it was just a lot that I learned walking through that residential school, and realizing that that's stuff that my Kokum went through was a lot. And then yeah, I learned a lot from her that day, and a lot about her history, which was nice in some ways, but at the same time it was really hard. And aside from walking through the residential school in Kamloops, we did a family blanket exercise together. And this included my uncles and cousins, and we first went through the blanket exercise, which is a really good exercise because it puts in perspective everything that happened, and the land that got taken away, and how many children got taken away. But afterwards, my Kokum shared her story, and the biggest thing when she was sharing was that she was called a number until she was 16. That was the only thing that she was referred to as. She didn't have a name. The number was her name. And she had 2 siblings that were also there, and their numbers were, if I'm not wrong, I think it was 116, 117, 118, and that's what they referred to. They didn't have names, and that was that. I bawled after that, because that's just a lot. Like, she didn't have a proper childhood, and like no child should experience that, and it's just unfortunate that she had no choice in that. And then her childhood and also her culture got ripped away from her. And yeah, it was, that whole blanket exercise with our family was very healing, because we hadn't talked about it as a family before that. And yeah, like, I did the interview 2 years ago, and I said in the interview that I don't know a lot about my family's past, but like, I know it's bad. And now that I know more, like, it's hard to know, because it's unfortunate that they had to deal with those things, but it makes me appreciate them more, and like more as people, because if you met them today, you would never know that that's something they went through, because they have grown from that and they've dealt with all that. And yeah, I enjoyed learning about their past. As hard as it was, it made me appreciate them more. And I have appreciation for them and where they've come, and that I'm even able to be at university right now playing a university sport. Like, that makes me appreciate what they have done. It's definitely made us closer as a family. It was a very like emotional and vulnerable time that we had together, so I think it helped a lot that we were able to connect with each other. Honestly, like, I've said it a lot, like, I'm appreciative of my family, but yeah, like, I appreciate my family or my parents more, because they have built a successful life and given me and my siblings a successful life based on what their history is, and like their parents, because yeah, both my parents are First Nations, and they both had one parent that went to residential school, so they both feel the same pain, I guess. And like, yeah, I'm at a point where I'm playing university hockey, and yeah, that's just, and yeah, I'm thankful for my parents and their strength and my grandparents' strength, and yeah, biggest word is appreciative. Yeah, like, honestly, I have more knowledge and like understanding. I have a greater understanding, and before I was like, oh, that's just, as most people, it's just a day, like, yeah, we should try to learn more, but now I'm like, no, like, we should really learn more, and you should try to understand where these people are coming from and their past and what they've had to go through, because, well, everyone's who they are because what they've gone through. And as for like all of Canada as a whole, they have to understand that Indigenous people aren't the way they are because of their own doing. They were put in these situations not by choice, and their culture was taken away. Their way of doing everything they knew was taken away, and that like leaves a lot of trauma on a person. And to understand, yeah, the biggest thing is understanding and learning where someone comes from, because I feel like there's a stigma around Indigenous people, and it's getting better now, and everyone's trying harder to learn. But yeah, I think it's just important every day to keep learning, and I'm gonna keep learning. There's still so much I need to learn, and I want to learn more about my culture, and I want to embrace that more. And even like this summer, I made my first ribbon skirt, And yeah, that was something that was important to me because I feel like I haven't made that a priority to embrace the Indigenous culture. And yeah, it's super important to just learn more and understand. And for me, yeah, I want to embrace my culture more and help other people learn about my culture and the history that has happened. Yeah, so, well, as like for everyone, like there's other people that have gone through different types of trauma, but especially for Indigenous people, like it did affect their whole way of living. For my grandparents, this was maybe 50 years ago that they were dealing with this, and yeah, I can just say that generational trauma is in fact a thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I've thought about it a lot recently because being able to help with that Indigenous hockey tournament that I did in May, that opened my eyes, and like it made me realize that like I am a role model, and like I want to be like the best role model I can be. I want to keep going as far as I can in my hockey career, and then I want to have a successful career, hopefully as a doctor in the future, because I just want to show, like, honestly, any little girl out there that it's possible. But even, especially being Indigenous, it makes, honestly, it makes it feel like more important that I am where I am, because there's a lot of people that aren't as fortunate that have the same history as me, but I am fortunate enough to be at this place, and it just makes me want to work harder every day and be a better person every day, because it is that much more important to be Indigenous. And like, we were the first people here and our culture was taken away from us, and that's why I want to like embrace more about my culture